Hello and welcome to the sale of my Mercedes V-Class 99 plate, Mercedes model number W638. I'll give a bit of history first and tell you how I acquired the vehicle. I bought it about 5 years ago off a guy who had it as a summer vehicle, basically taking his kids to the beach, and similarly that's what I did. I bought it as a really just for a bit of fun, really. Again, just used during the summer. The guy before me, he garaged it every year during the winter time. I've garaged it a couple of times, and then so just sort of reduced the use in the winter, which is probably one of the reasons why this van looks so good and kept in such good condition. So I'll take you around the van. When I bought the van, the rear suspension was broken. Well, I say broken, the compressor didn't work. So you had airbags in the rear and springs on the front. So I changed the rear all springs to get rid of that issue, common issue with these vehicles. So it's been lowered by 15mm in the rear and 35-40mm in the front, and also fitted 19-inch rims. These are BBS replicas. I've had them pretty much on the vehicle since I bought it, really. So essentially they look really good. There's no bubbling or flaking on the centre part of the wheel, and then on the rim, it's just lost its sheen slightly. That's supposed to be like a polished rim, but the lacquer's sort of gone matte slightly, and you get a little bit of sort of crazing underneath the lacquer, but it doesn't sort of spoil the integrity of the wheel. And this is what I call alligator. The wheels had a bit of what I call curb rash, and put this alligator on to cover up the rims, and also protects the rims, and it looks really neat. The tyres are good front and back. I've just done the tyre swaps. I've just moved the wheels that were on the front to the back and vice versa. So the tyres with the more tread are now on the front, and this should give at least 8,000 or 9,000 miles till the tyres need changing again. The sidebar you see here is made specifically for this vehicle, so it controls in really nicely. That's been on the vehicle since I've had it, and yeah, it hasn't lost any of its sheen. That looks nice and fresh still. The looking down the sides of the vehicle, I mean, it hasn't really suffered too much with door prangs, parking in supermarket car parks. There are a few little scratches here and there around the sides of the vehicle, and there are some little bits of rust that's just starting to show through. So I'll show you this here on the rear arch here. I don't know how well you can see it, but these wings, the camera plays and we can touch it up. I mean, it's just literally sort of superficial rust on the outer rim here, which sort of affects a lot of these Mercedes from this sort of era, really. But say it's just superficial and can be easily sort of rectified if you wish to. And moving on around the vehicle, the front bumper here, that's just lost a bit of sheen just on the top edge. You can probably see there's still a nice bit of shine on the bottom here, but it's just lost a bit of sheen just on the top edge. The grille is from the Vito van. So when Mercedes first built this vehicle, it was a van. I think the van came first, and then the people carrier came second. The reason I say that is it drives more like a van, really, than a car. It sort of creaks and rattles a little bit like a van, and the suspension's a little bit firmer. But don't let that put you off. There's lots of refinements sort of inside, and make it more sort of comfortable than driving a van. So just moving on round, I'll just show you this wing. This one again, just suffering a little bit from sort of superficial rust, really, just here on the outside. Again, it's not affecting the integrity of the actual panel itself. I'll just take you inside the front here, just so you can have a look around this side. So you can see again, just I'll show you these door panels, all nice and clean in there. And then just move on down. The seals nice and clean, and all the fabric's always been kept nice and clean, so you can see it's all nice and clean in the interior. I've taken the mats out just so you can see what was under the mat. I have a couple of sets of mats, not new, but they're sort of reasonably good condition. So all grey leather, as you can see. Likewise, going the side here, so there are two doors. There's a door either side of the van. Again, you can see it's all clean in there. Just like this. I'll just shut that up. So you can probably see my reflection in there. The windows have been tinted quite heavily on the back, so you can't really see too much what's going on inside there, and there's no tint on the apart from the natural tint of the windows in the front. So the tint on the back is a film as opposed to a glass tint. The film itself's got a few little scratches on, a few little holes, but it's difficult to see. I'm just sort of pointing those things out. Again, the side panel looks pretty good. Come on the side here, so you do get little vents on the back, which are really nice. These are quite cool. These are electric, just one touch to open, and then you can, by closing it, you can then just adjust how wide you want to open. That's at full opening at the moment, but it allows the air to flow through when you're driving. The bumper here, it's got a small little crack here. Well, it's not really a crack, it's just where the paint sort of is cracked really well. Obviously, and there's a small scuff mark here where there's been a bit of a knot, but again, doesn't affect the integrity of the bumper. From the back here, so again, the rear window's been tinted. It says 423. It's actually a V23. It's actually a V230, but the zero isn't on there for whatever reason. We'll go inside the back. So just a couple of little sort of rust spots I'm just pointing out under here. And all under here is pretty clean. Not sure why the camera's picking this up. Just going inside, it's just the small sort of the small mark on the bumper there. So this is with the two seats in the back. So this is how much sort of space you're left with. There's a couple of feet there, and then you get the parcel cover sitting here, which just opens and closes. And when these two seats aren't here, you can move the parcel cover all the way forward to this point here. So you've got a nice big loading bay if you wanted to have a big loading bay. Here's the other vent. Small crack on the lens there, but you know, no problems with the MOT on that, and it's not picking up water, so that's all fine. Couple of small bits of rust bubbles there. Step back a bit. Again, let's go just inside the van here. So again, all nice and clean, no marks. Doors all pretty good, nice and clean. So the seat, you know, considering this van's done 92,000 miles, you know, there's not a lot of wear on the seat really. There's a bit of wear on that bolster there, but nothing major, no rips or tears. So coming on inside, I'll just turn the key so we can have a look at some of the features on the dashboard here. So you've got your temperature control, it's really straightforward. The air vent there, two lots of air vents here. So these ones here for the people in the front, these ones at the back here drive the cold air over the back. And in the back in the floor, you've also got, at the back there, you've got a vents for the hot and cold air, like was at the front here. Obviously you've got your directional control here. Unfortunately the condenser is not working for the air conditioning, and I've had a quote sort of £400 to £500 to repair that, but again, because I don't use the vehicle that often, and you know, versus the number of hot days we have, it didn't seem much point in getting that done, to be honest with you. stereo Alpine unit, really good. It's got a nice stereo in here. It sounds pretty good. You've got speakers in the front, speakers in the rear, and there's also a small sub underneath the driver's seat. Oh yeah, just to mention the aerial, there's this is not connected up to an aerial. The aerial itself, when I got the van, had no aerial, so I put an electric aerial in, but somebody snapped it off, which left the tail of the aerial inside the motor, and the motor's a little bit difficult to get at. You probably could take the motor out and take the old aerial out and get that working again, but on the stereo here you've got an auxiliary point to plug your phone in. There's also a USB, and then up here we've got a little speaker for the hands-free, so you can connect via Bluetooth. This button here is obsolete. This is for the air suspension. Internal button for locking the doors, rear window demist, variations on the traction control, and this is the 4-speed box. Pretty straightforward. It's nice the fact you actually slide it into these gates pretty easy, third, second and first. So if you're going up a hill, you might want to drop it down a gear to keep the ride smooth. You might want to use the gear stick as opposed to kicking down, or if you're going downhill you want to drop it down to second gear, or engine braking. It's very easy just to move it around. It's a very easy van to drive actually. So this button here does your lights in the rear, on off, or you can link it in with the doors when they open. Cup holders, cassette deck holders. I've seen these on eBay. You can get what I call a single DIN unit, which will just have the CDs if you so wish. Fire extinguisher, I'm not sure if that works, to be honest with you. It's always been in the van. Heated seats in the front, they all work, lovely and warm. 2 settings. And then moving around to the van. Let me just start the van up actually. Just shut the door. Just straighten that wheel up. There you go. So 93,158. It may go up a little bit, maybe 50 miles. Van's actually at work at the moment, stored in the work car park, so it might end up taking it home yet. Cruise control, very simple system. Just automatically hit it up for set, and you can then cancel it and resume it. That's quite nice to have on the motorway. When I'm cruising in this vehicle on the motorway, we normally run about 65-70 miles an hour. You're never really in a hurry driving this. The benefit of driving this van is that you can see you've got a great, you've got great vision all the way around, and you're set up nice and high. Fog lights, and then this control panel here, you've got your electric windows and electric mirrors and electric windows. Fine. And then you've got these one-touch windows in the back for the side openers. Let's see if we can just. So it's open at the moment. There you go. Close it up. So we'll start the van up now. Have a look inside the engine bay. So you can see no lights on anywhere. I'm just going to go around the other side to open the engine bonnet, which is just over there. So here's the engine. It's a 2.3 litre petrol. I say cruise on the motorway, you get a reasonable sort of maybe 30-32 to the gallon, very solid unit. Never let me down really. Likewise with the gearbox, runs very smoothly, say 92,000. So it's looking pretty clean and not too bad inside there. I'm just going to turn the engine off. So we'll just move into the back. So this is my usual configuration. I normally have two seats in the front here, with the armrest either side, and so I put these in really just for demonstration. Normally there's 5 seats altogether, but one of the seats, it still goes in, it still works, no problem at all, and it's safe to use, but it's very difficult to get out, and I can show you how to get it out, but it is very difficult to get out, so that's why I haven't got it in here. But I'll just quickly demonstrate the seat. So this lever here, you just pull it up, allows the top part of the seat to come down, so you can then access the back. This switch here actually pulls the seat right up, and just so these little red tabs here, you literally just unclip that either side, and you can lift the seat out. Now the seats are quite heavy, but they're very solid, and they're very comfortable to ride in long distances. So we took this van down to Monaco. We had an 11-hour stint one day, and nobody complained about being uncomfortable. So I think that's sort of a justification for these seats. Actually, they're nice, leather, and they are nice and comfortable. You can see there's a little tab here. With that, you can put another armrest in there, so you can change the armrests. The holes in the floor here means you can move the seats left, right. You can have one seat in the front, or you can have a bench seat in the front. You can rotate the seats round, because there is a table here. Now the table lid, I've never really used the table, so with the table lid, it comes off like that, and it should be hinged on here, but unfortunately the pins weren't here when I got the van, and then the table literally just moves up like so, and that's your table. Like I say, this seat can rotate, so everybody can sit around the table, 2 halves of the table, and that quite simply goes back into its slot like so. And this sits here perfectly without any movement whilst you're driving. So sat in the van, again, you've got good vision all round. This is for the parcel shelf when you want it in that position, and then the button here for the electric windows, because where they operate at the moment,